Week 11 buy low, sell high show. The Monday Night Football game for Week 10. The Niners blasting the Rams, which was a crazy game to watch unfold the way that it unfolded. The Rams got blasted by the 49ers. That Week 10 contest seals in Week 10. It's over. It's good and done. Week 10's in the rear view mirror. And when Week 10's in the rear view, what does that mean? It means it's time to prepare for the upcoming week, Week 11. And Week 11 has a bunch of buy low and sell high players for us, as every single week does. It presents opportunities for us when people do bad or they're coming off a bye week and people don't remember how good they're going to be. Like my boy Jamar Chase, who's going to be probably the top player we talk about walking into tonight's show. Jamar Chase is a man among men, a legend. The dude we're all going to want in 2022, probably above most all wide receivers. If talking redraft in 2022, we might still be talking Hill and Adams and a couple other guys, Jefferson. But I predict that Jamar Chase finishes on such a tear that we see him flirting with round one value in redraft 2022. I'm going to break it all down. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
This is the Fantasy Football Show with your host, Smitty.
Top 5 running back. You're watching the Fantasy Football Show. I'm Smitty.
Take a lap. We've got a lot to talk about heading into week number 11. Our buy lows, our sell highs. What are we doing? And let's lead it off with Jamar Chase, the guy I believe can not only win leagues in 2021 down the stretch, but a guy that will play so well and have one of those like 178 yard and 2 or 3 TD efforts at some point during week 11 on. He's going to make people just want to own him in 2022. The buzz is going to be out of control. We might not even know it, but we might be looking at an overvalued player in 2022. Right now, we're excited about him. Right now, I'm talking him up like crazy. But come draft day, maybe people have this guy so hyped up that it's like now or never time in Dynasty. And in redraft, this might be your last swing at an attempt to get a player that could help you win your league as you go down the stretch weeks 11 through whatever you play to. Everyone's playing a little different this year. The extended game, some people are doing their playoffs in the exact same week, which is going to be bad because you still have a bye week in week 14. But Jamar Chase is going to have those huge monster games, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be crazy. This guy's going to be untouchable if for any reason you could trade next week. I think Jamar Chase drops one of those 100 to 120 yard games, 1 or 2 touchdowns, and will be untouchable go forward if you have trading that extends beyond week 11. And in Dynasty, good luck getting him. Like, it's hard enough to trade for him right now, but if Jamar Chase finishes the way I believe, this is a live recording, Nick, if Jamar Chase finishes the way I believe that he's going to finish, I think we're looking at a potential top 12 overall player in 2022 redraft leagues. DK panic time. Crunch wants to know, Slayer's in the house. What's up, Slayer? A lot of people are panicking. We're going to break down a lot of this on screen. Number 1 by Jamar Chase. Go get him now before it's too late. I'm telling you, I would pay pretty much not whatever I had to, but I would overpay a little bit for this guy. He's coming off the bye week. A lot of people aren't going to be thinking about him. They're going to be like, okay, yeah, Jamar Chase, this guy that is probably going to be a top 10 wide receiver go forward. He's going to be a top 5 wide receiver go forward. And rookies go in a little slump, little like lull in their fantasy value, which is what he's doing. And I said that from the beginning. He's going to go like this, and then rookies always take a little dip. They take a little break, and then they shoot back up if they're elite talents like Jamar Chase is. This is time. This is the upward trajectory on the chart. It's going to be little lull, and then boom, to the moon. This guy's going to be untouchable in leagues that still allowed for trading past week 11. Go get him now. A-Rod. Go get A-Rod right now if you need a quarterback change for any reason. And you got to be careful, though, with these Green Bay Packer players because they still have a bye coming up. And so you can't really go get A-Rod if you cannot afford to lose a game. You got to be smart about this. You got to be real smart about this. You have to, when going and getting Devonte Adams, when going and getting Aaron Jones, and we'll talk about him in a second, if you should even acquire Aaron Jones. Is he worth going and getting in your league? Let's bring that up right now, or we'll do that next. But in week number 13, 10-10-3, your Green Bay Packers have a bye. So this move only makes sense if you are looking for a quarterback. You've already made the playoffs, so you're going to coast into the playoffs. You can take advantage of a team that's got A-Rod that can't afford to lose. So he's a buy low, but in unique circumstances that I just described. Make sure you're not buying him if you can't afford to lose, and then boom, you're out of luck because you can't afford that loss, and you get an L because he's got a bye week coming up in week 13. Aaron Jones, same thing. He's got a bye. He's also injured. So you figure he's going to be out week 11, probably week 12, most likely. They have a bye in week 13. Everyone calling this a 1 to 2 week injury. The bye week affords them to call it a 3-week injury. Now, the concern I have with Mr. Aaron Jones is that this is a knee model. This is the knee. This is the patellar tendon. And the MCL is this big bad boy right here. This is your LCL. You've got your PCL and your ACL inside. These are your main ligaments, okay? Cartilage is in between, the padding. This MCL, this man, Aaron Jones, has torn several times. In this right knee. In the left knee, too. My concern is that this mild tear for him is going to be harder for him to recover, and he'll be more susceptible to a setback, given that he's had a lot of history with this torn MCL already, the specific one in this knee, in both of them, but in this knee specifically. So Aaron Jones, this thing could turn into one of those things where it's like no one really updates you. We're all kind of waiting, and then after the bye week, we start hearing things like we're hearing about Barkley, and like we've been hearing about Clyde, where it's like you don't really know much. He might play, then he misses the game, okay? Then all of a sudden, the bye week comes, and then all of a sudden, we're looking for information that's like, hey, he's starting. And then we might hear something like, he's trending in the right direction. He might possibly play. But let me tell you, if A.J. Dillon, this man right here, Quesadilla, Big Dilly, Big Daddy Dillon, if A.J. Dillon is tearing it up, they're going to be cautious with Aaron Jones. They're going to save Aaron Jones for the playoffs. So I'm not saying we know for sure how this is going to play out. And I'm not telling you with any kind of like hardcore gut instinct cemented in, I'm not budging type of angle here that Aaron Jones will miss more than 1 to 2 actual weeks, then hit the bye week. So 3 total weeks he'll be down. I'm just saying it feels very much the closest to one of those situations that I can think of where we're going to be left in the dark, and then push comes to shove. The man doesn't play, that week 14 coming out of the bye week. But we will see. How is Green Bay looking record-wise at that point? How is Dillon looking, filling in for him and supplementing for him? How's everything looking? What's the lay of the landscape? That's all going to determine whether Aaron Jones comes back. So back on point, a buy low. You buy Aaron Jones low if your team has a winning record and you can afford the ups and downs, and you can afford him literally not playing 3 weeks in a row. Week 11, week 12, the Packers have a bye in week 13, so you will not get Aaron Jones if you trade for him until week 14. You need to understand that. That means A.J. Dillon is starting week 11, probably week 12. They have a bye week. Then we'll see what's what. But A.J. Dillon is a potential sell high if you struck gold. You did what Smitty said. You believed it anyways. You did it on your own. Whatever the reason that led you to have A.J. Dillon on your bench right now, if you need to make a huge move, he could be a potential trade sell high player, especially if you go to the Aaron Jones owner, or you go to the Aaron Jones owner and you say, hey, I've got Dillon, you've got Aaron Jones. Let's put these two bad boys together like gems on the Iron Man fist, or the whatever you call it fist, the Avengers fist, and let's join forces and get one of these two guys on one of our teams so that we can have the complete package, the total package here. Can we cuff them together and come up with a deal where I send you Dillon, you send me some awesome wide receiver that's maybe, I don't know, let's say DK. DK's frustrating the owner that had him. DK, go get DK. Aaron Jones. So I'm not saying you can trade Dillon straight up for DK, but trade Dillon and another player for DK Metcalf. You might be able to squeeze that out from the owner that has Aaron Jones because they're panicking and freaking out. So DK Metcalf is a good buy low. Aaron Jones is a good buy low for the right person. AJ Dillon is a good sell high. James Robinson, I am worried about James Robinson. I would definitely sell James Robinson right now, coming off a touchdown in a mediocre game. It's not that he can't continue to do well. I just really feel like James Robinson, his offense is questionable to me. His staying healthy and being the guy for the whole year is a concern for me. Call it a gut instinct. We don't have a whole lot to go on as far as his injury history, but we also don't have like a bunch of years of this guy delivering. It's kind of like, he got banged up already this year. He just feels questionable to me. This offense worries me. And I don't know what to make of Urban Meyer. I'm just not comfortable with the value he currently holds. I'm not comfortable walking away from it and not taking advantage of it and just saying, you know what? I may trade him and regret it. But if I trade him high right now and get something I love, I'm going to be okay if I'm wrong and J-Rob continues to do well. What I'm going to buy would be something along the lines of a James Conner and a DK Metcalf for J-Rob and then throw in another player. I'm trying my very best to buy low on a James Conner. I'm going to put him over here in a second. People are freaking out about James Conner. Barely got used in the Cardinal game this week. But the Cardinals aren't all put together right now. They're injured. They're divided. Their top two players are out. They looked awful. This was not the same Cardinals team we'd seen over and over and over, week in and week out until Kyler went down. Now we've got a whole mess going on in Arizona where until Kyler comes back, this offense is nowhere near what it used to be. There's no possible way. They did really well against the Niners, who were depleted, down and out. We dominated the Niners based on the run game and using Conner all over the place. Conner's a beast. He's got, 11 TDs in 10 games. Conner is a great buy low. Now, alone, I don't want to trade Conner for J-Rob. And maybe you can't get DK, but maybe you could get someone like Conner and McLaurin. Buy McLaurin on the cheap. This might be a deal you could pull off. I would try for DK, but Conner and McLaurin would be a deal that I think you could probably pull off. And I'm not saying that's a trade for everybody, but if you need two players, you need to divide into two players, dilute one player into two in order to get wins and in order to fill your lineup. Conner's a great buy low. McLaurin is a great buy low. I love McLaurin right now at his current value, which is pretty much garbage value. So I'm going to sell high on J-Rob. I'm going to buy low on Herbert. I know a lot of people are freaking out about Herbert. He is panic chamber material. If I do a Herbert or a panic chamber week 11, I'm not sure if I will or not. Herbert definitely will be in the panic chamber, but does that mean I don't buy him? I definitely feel like I would buy him and put him in the panic chamber, but as a buy. As a guy that's sitting in the panic chamber, totally low in value. No one believes in him, which makes him a great value. Waller would be a great buy right now. If you own him, it's time to worry. He's in the panic chamber. He's already been in the panic chamber. He's been living in the panic chamber pretty much all year, except for in week 1 when everybody thought he was going to break records. And that's why you can't go off of 1 week. That's why you can't go off of Amari Cooper's week 1 and say, Cooper's the best wide receiver. Told you, Smitty. Remember all the people that came out of the woodwork after that week 1 breakout performance by CeeDee Lamb, and because Amari Cooper got another touchdown and did a little bit better than breakout boy CeeDee Lamb, everybody came out of the woodwork and said, see, Smitty, I told you Cooper was the number 1. You can't trust everything by 1 week. And Waller has been busting pretty much all year. But does that mean we avoid him? No, there's an opportunity here. And I would buy low on Waller because you're not buying low, you're not buying at a value that anyone paid for. So the most common reaction I get from people when I say, yeah, buy Waller low, they don't even hear me. They just say, why would I buy Waller? He's doing bad. You're buying him at doing bad value. You're buying him at a value where the owner's like, I need to get rid of him. I need something. You could probably trade. Let's go to a wide receivers because cross position trades usually work better when you're giving up a wide receiver for a tight end. Usually people are not doing 1-for-1s for the same position. They're actually trying to fill a hole using a surplus. So if someone's got Waller to sell, that means they might have Higbee or Goddard or whatever, Schultz, and they're like, I'm going to get rid of Waller. So you trade for Waller, giving up a Thielen. Make someone overpay for Thielen. Give up potentially a Higgins, a DJ Moore, maybe if we were to go running backs, we'll go to running backs. You could probably give up like a Michael Carter and a wide receiver for Waller right now. You could probably give up for people hurting at quarterback. Maybe you've got 2 quarterbacks. Maybe you've got Joe Burrow, who is a good buy low for me, and I'm going to probably put him on this list, but maybe you've got an extra quarterback you can throw with a Michael Carter, or just go with a quarterback for this positional swap because people are hurting really, really bad. Let's see, Lucas has a question here. For Kareem Hunt, absolutely. If you can get Waller for Kareem Hunt, that's a huge win. That's what I'm talking about. The people are willing to sell Waller way too cheap. He is one of the better buy lows. I would say Jamar Chase could win leagues really big here. Waller could win leagues very, very big. Connor could as well. These other guys like DK, we already know they're studs, but DK, one reason DK is a good buy low this week is he frustrated his owners. He got ejected from the game. People are they've been expecting a lot from him, and then to see Russell Wilson be really stale and fall flat on his face in week 10, I think DK owners are panicked because of the peripheral, because of what's going on alongside of DK, not necessarily with DK's talent. So definitely feel like this is did help me emphasize the point. There's concern with injury, but we're not selling this man low. We're buying him low. Like, you hold him and you wait and you let the wheels fall off before you sell low. Kamara is way too valuable to be trading low. Would I trade him? Can he live in both worlds? Absolutely. Like, you can buy low on Kamara. You can also sell high on Kamara. You can sell Kamara if someone's willing to buy him at his draft value because they love Kamara. They don't let the injury worry them too much. They want Kamara's talent and potential output for weeks 12 on. They're already going to make the playoffs. They just want Kamara. They might give you a Jamar Chase and a potential DeAndre Swift or something like that for Kamara, and maybe you throw back a player that you don't really need or use that often that's playing well. You might be able to get, in terms of running back, let's use DK Metcalf as an example. So DK Metcalf and Swift, DK Metcalf and potentially let's see here, Joe Mixon. You may be able to get 2 players for Kamara, and if your team needs that to win, you kind of got to make a move. But make the right move. Don't make a bad move. Don't make a move just to make a move. So sell high on Kamara and buy low on Kamara, because I'm more strongly for buying him than selling him, because he can live in both buckets. I'm going to put Kamara on the buy low side. I'm going to put Hopkins on the buy low side because no one's going to sell him high. No one's going to be able to get anything for him in a trade. And because of that reaction and perspective, and I'm going to get to the super chats in a second, because of that reaction and perspective that most people share right now about Hopkins, I don't want anything to do with him. You can buy him dirt cheap. And if you can wait on him, if your team's built and you can afford to wait, you're already making the playoffs, or you can trade away bench talent. Even if you're struggling to make the playoffs, bench talent that you're struggling with deciding between each and every week anyway, and you can go get Hopkins and save him. And then if you do get lucky enough to make the playoffs, boom, you've got a top 10 wide receiver to plug in, and I do believe he'll return to form. Kyler Murray, same thing. Very tricky trading for these Cardinal players because, and the same thing goes for A-Rod and for Aaron Jones. These Cardinal players and the Packer players, they have not yet had their bye week. And so if Kyler's going to miss this upcoming week, which there's a strong possibility he still misses week number 11, then you're not only out this week, you're out week 12 as well, because the Cardinals have a bye in week 12. So Kyler Murray and Hopkins might miss 2 more straight weeks. You might not be able to use them until week 13. And so same thing with Connor. Obviously, all 3 of these Cardinal players, you have to have the right set of circumstances in your favor. Your team has to be winning. You have to already have made the playoffs. You have to be built to wait on Kyler and Connor and Hopkins. But if you can wait on Kyler, Connor, and Connor you can trade for now because he's going to play week 11. But Kyler and Hopkins specifically, if you can afford to wait, these guys can win you leagues, and the people that own them will want to get rid of them because they can't afford to wait 2 more weeks. They can't afford to wait out week 11 and then the bye week. Kyler and Hopkins must be bought now if you're set up to do it. These are 2 of the best buy lows for week 11 on in the mindset that you're not using them until week 13. So if you can afford to do that, if you've got a great team, you've already locked the playoffs in. I know Mark Cleveland. I don't know if Mark Cleveland's watching. Mark Cleveland would be a perfect example. I think he's 8-2. Okay, he's 8-2, but his team's kind of injured right now, and he wants to do some trades, whatever. Mark Cleveland would be the perfect candidate with his team being 8-2 and him wanting to move some pieces around to go acquire a Kyler and a Hopkins because he's already made the playoffs. If you wait on these guys, they can help you win leagues. Just mark it down right now. Know what I'm saying and understand how I'm saying it, because it really matters. You can't just go trade for Kyler and Hopkins and have 4 wins. It's not going to work for you. If you have 7 or 8 wins, you're locked to make at least the bottom playoff spot. I don't care so much about where I'm ranked in the playoffs. You guys know, every year you could have the best seed get knocked off by the worst team, and then later on when you look at who you would have played had you lost another game, and you would have won the whole thing had you gone a different path to the final game and won your Super Bowl. Don't worry so much about your seed. Okay, it's nice to have that bye. I understand, but not everybody has a bye. So of course you want to work for the bye week. But if you're worried about getting first or second or third or getting the wild card spot, you can lock in the wild card spot. But if you're worried about getting second place or making, one of the last spots to make your playoffs, if you're worried about that and that's why you're not making a trade that can help you win it all, I think you need to rethink what your angle is there. Connor, go get him now. I don't care about his low usage in week 10. This was an odd week. The Cardinals didn't move the football at all. They looked awful. Dalvin Cook is both a buy and a sell. And I'm going to say coming off of last week, he's more of a buy than he is a sell. I think people are worried about his situation. I think people are worried about a lot of things. And then on top of him not performing to expectations yet this year, he makes for a really good buy, especially if you own Madison. So I'm going to put him over here, but just know that, he can live in both areas, and I'm not giving up. I'm going to underpay, or I'm not going to go after him. But if you have Madison and you can get Connor for a steal, let's say you're giving up James Robinson and a really solid wide receiver too, and you can get Dalvin Cook. I've seen it happen. I don't want to hear that trade can't happen. You can make these kind of trades happen. Do it. Go get Cook. He's worth it. But I think you got to pay the right price, or you don't go after him at all. Madison, Cook's such an injury risk on top of the emotional stress he's going through, on top of the fact that he hasn't been delivering like he should be. He's really ranked really low. Does anybody have a ranking for their specific league where's Dalvin Cook ranking in your league for running backs through week 10? If everybody could drop where he's ranking in your specific league, sort by season, running backs through week 10, and drop a number. I want to see the numbers roll in. Where is he ranking in your specific scoring system? And that should give you an indication that you're not overspending. Connor says he ranks 22nd out of all running backs in his league. That's bad. That's bad. Do not overpay with the risk, his potential legal situation, which isn't bad yet, but it could turn that way with one video release, with one simple piece of news, with one DM that we haven't seen yet, a screenshot of a DM where he admits something horrible. One message could turn this thing in the other direction to where he doesn't play, week 12, 13, whatever. It could happen like that. He's ranked 22nd, 22nd, 21st, 20th, 22nd, 22nd. He's ranked 22nd, 26th in this scoring format, 19. He's not playing. He's not playing up to par. He's not. So make sure you're not overpaying. Make sure the person knows that when you're trading for him, when you're saying, "Hey, I'll trade you," lowball them, under offer, and then when they come at you going, "This is Dalvin Cook," you show them the stats, bro. You say he's scoring 22nd out of all running backs and facing potential legal issues that if one piece of news drops, he's gone. He's gone. His career's over if things drop a certain way. And if anybody thinks he's not going to be deactivated by the Vikings because they would have done it already, you are correct if nothing gets worse for him. But all it takes is one single screenshot, a DM. It doesn't have to be a video clip. One really bad DM screenshot that we haven't seen yet, that she's been hanging on to or whatever, and dude's done. But he also, if nothing else comes out, can win you a league. That's why he's over in this section by low. He can win. He can absolutely win you a league if nothing else gets worse for him, and you can absolutely buy him low. So that's why he lives over there. CMC, look, we've talked about CMC for weeks and weeks and weeks about, can he win you a league? Can CMC stay healthy? Is CMC the number 1 or number 2 or number 3 running back going forward? Is Christian McCaffrey going to be a top 5 pick in 2022 redraft leagues? What's his dynasty value? We've gone back and forth over and over this topic, and the truth is no one knows. It's all dependent on his health. And Christian McCaffrey is either going to stay healthy and be a top 2 or 3 overall running back and potentially top 3 overall scorer going forward, and be a top 1 to 4 overall pick in 2022 redraft leagues because he stayed healthy and dominated and stayed healthy, or he's going to get hurt and he's going to be the most controversial player to rank and draft heading into 2022. And he's going to burn so many people 2 years in a row that no one's going to want anything to do with him, probably to a fault, and then you're going to be able to get him for a value, which you're still going to be uncomfortable about, but it might help you win a league if you get Christian McCaffrey in round 2 in 2022 because he gets hurt and doesn't finish the year. If Christian McCaffrey goes out in week 11, gets hurt, and is done for the season, or even done for 3 or 4 weeks, comes back, barely plays week 16 and 17, something weird like that leaves you in the lurch, you lose your playoff race because of it, or you lose in the playoffs because of it, he will be talked about as a second round pick in 2022. He will not be a first round pick. If, listen to the words coming out of my mouth for whoever that guy's name is probably watching right now that doesn't listen to what I'm saying. If he gets hurt, he's a second rounder. If he gets hurt, he's not going in the first round. No one's going to trust him. If Christian McCaffrey doesn't finish the year, no one will trust him. Nobody, until you get to round 2. If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy all season, play 2 week 17, full go, dropping loads all over the place like he does, he will be a top 3 or 4 overall pick. You're drunk. So explain to me this right here. You're drunk, Smitty. Explain to me. I would love to put your argument, your rebuttal against mine. So Gary, please tell me why I'm drunk. How am I drunk to say that Christian McCaffrey gets hurt and doesn't finish the season, that he is a first rounder? I would love to know what the argument is. How is that out of line at all? Because what you're probably going to say, Gary, is that he's scoring well, he's doing good, which is completely off topic. What I'm saying is that he will be... let me get the Super Chats on. Sorry, guys. Super Chats. Mr. Punch! Dropping the massive wad. Mr. Punch, the man, the myth, the legend. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to get through the content, so I told you I'd get to the Super Chats. I didn't see Mr. Punch drop that one. Mr. Punch dropping a big load right on the screen. Derek Just, appreciate you. Let me get to these Super Chats real quick. I do try and keep the content flowing, and I always take care of my Super Chats, but I was trying to stay in a groove there. Because if I just get to the Super Chats right away and I don't get to the content, then people complain about that too. So trying to trying to take care of everyone at once. Let's get these out of the way. Connor and Lockett for Diggs. What are my thoughts? I take Diggs in a heartbeat in that situation. Derek Just now won without Kamara and Hopkins. 6-4, nice. And you're going to get them back. You're in good shape. I wouldn't sell either of those guys. I would wait. And here's Mr. Punch's 100 spot super chat. Appreciate you, Mr. Punch. Hey, Smitty. Sent you some pics of my team on Insta. Half PPR, 12 team, super flex. Gonna be 5-5 after the L this week. I think my team will be solid down the stretch, but I want to see if you have any input on what you should do. You need... Okay, let me see if I can get these screenshots from you. So, Mr. Punch, I assume that your handle on Instagram is going to be similar, so I can find you pretty easily. Let's get Mr. Punch's super chat in here, or screenshots in here. Mr. Punch. Oh, here he is. Here's Punch. All right, let me drag Mr. Punch's team on here. Guys, let's all help Mr. Punch out. I'm going to drag his roster on screen, and we're going to cook up a trade for him. So these are his two graphics that he sent me. That's clearly part of his bench there. And this would be, I assume, his lineup. Okay, so here we go. Here we go. Mike White, brutal outing. That's on me, Punch. Mike White, Jefferson, Deebo Samuel, your wide receivers are fire. Zach Moss, Alex Collins, rough running back, treading there, good buddy. Hawkinson, I like. Landry's, he's kind of rough as well. Look at Tyreek Hill. You got Jefferson, Deebo, and Tyreek Hill. Three of the best receivers you could have in fantasy right now. And then you have Knox. That's definitely a good tight end, I think, going forward, as long as he stays healthy. We'll have to check his health right now, though. Make sure he's good to go. You got Kamara on the bench. Okay, so that's where you got Kamara and Dillon coming in. Okay, so Punch has got Dillon. Let's go to the marker board. No, we can do this like this. Punch has got Dillon and Kamara. And his quarterbacks, God, Kyler on the bench. Punch, you're going to be fine, I think. You just got to find a quarterback replacement. I don't know who is on waivers. Punch, can you tell me who's on waivers? And let's try and take care of adding a good quarterback. I don't mind having Colt McCoy while you're waiting for Kyler, because that's safe for you to decide week in, week out, what to do as we wait for Kyler to return. So it gives you flexibility. He should play this week. I think the Cardinals will look better. I don't think McCoy's a great start, but it is definitely a safe move for you in a 2 QB league where quarterbacks are super, super hard to come by, picking up off waivers. But I would like to know if there's anybody. Is Cam available? What can you do add drop wise to help get a better passer in there? Mike White may start this week, so if you're forced to use him, then, so be it. Don't cut him, because he might be one of the better options for you in a 2 QB league at this point if he does start the week. You are absolutely fine. Once Kamara comes back, bro, Once you get Kyler back, you should be good. You got A.J. Dillon. You could potentially sell high on Debo and try and get a running back in there, try and get a quarterback upgrade. I don't know what Debo would get you. If you were to trade Debo, you would definitely want to target a receiver back and maybe go get somebody that you think is going to have a really good finish like McLaurin. Like if you went and got McLaurin and a big quarterback bump, and I don't know how hard that is in your league, that would be a good move for you. Because McLaurin could probably hang, at least produce some low-end wide receiver 1 stats. I think he could do that, and then you're able to get your quarterback bump. So I don't know if you're able to get like a Burrow or something like that. Mr. Punch, drop me your thoughts on what you're thinking. But honestly, man, your team is fire. If you can get through this Kyler Murray and Kamara can bounce back, this Kyler Murray situation. Tua, you got Tua too. So you got Tua and potentially Colt McCoy this week. I think you'll be fine, bro. I think you're going to be fine. Assuming Kamara plays this week. Let's look up Kamara and see how Kamara's looking. Kamara. There's no update on Kamara. No update whatsoever. So tough to say. Stay right there. Did Gary ever respond? Why Gary thinks I'm drunk? What's wrong, Gary? What's wrong with my take, Gary? What is wrong with A.J. Brown, Smitty? He got banged up and he left the game for a little bit. I don't know at what point he came back, but A.J. Brown, part of the reason I was concerned about A.J. Brown once Henry went down, and I said this, like he might be the focal point of defenses going forward. You're talking about a guy that is going to be facing just total lockdown situations because who do they have to throw the football to? Who do they have to run the football? It's going to be tough sledding for him going forward. And it's here. It's right here. A.J. Brown either double teamed or in man coverage against Lattimore throughout the game. Brown's usual heaping load of targets were funneled to Marcus Johnson. Like, he's going to have good and bad games. But he did get banged up. He did leave for a little bit. I don't think it was that long. But he's going to see double teams pretty much the rest of the season. There's just no weapons. I was not rooting for Derrick Henry to go down for the sake of A.J. Brown alone. Like, I did not want anything to happen. Even though I said Henry would get hurt, it's not like I wanted it to happen. I have a lot of A.J. Brown shares. So, and then when Julio went on IR, it's like, what other weapons do they have? So I do have a lot of concern about A.J. Brown going forward, especially with his health. He always seems to have these knee issues that won't go away. Mr. Punch, Thomas, Carlos, thank you for the super chat. Carlos, we got 243 people in here. Please punch the thumbs up on your way in the door. If you're new to the channel, hit the thumbs up and also subscribe. Appreciate you being here. And I think I've got all the super chats on screen. Okay. So let's break them down here. Mr. Punch said the only starting quarterback available is Goff, and I have Tua and Tyrod potentially. If Kyler is out, I'd have to start both next week. Should I trade for a QB? I would look to see what wide receiver and quarterback combo you can get for Debo. I don't want you to trade Debo. I'm not saying Debo is a for sure sell. It's just he's got such good value right now. Just because I'm telling you to potentially trade Debo if the price is right does not mean I hate Debo. It just means that Debo's got a ton of value. If you shop right, you can buy another player you absolutely love. Like, I sent a super on Kyler Smitty. Okay, I'll look for that. It's not like you're buying a player you don't absolutely love that's going to bounce back. So in the case of like I said, McLaurin. Okay, here it is. Thanks, Terry. In the case of McLaurin, you have a guy I believe can not for sure, but can be a top 10 wide receiver going forward. Not for sure, but he can be. And so for that reason, I'm going to go get McLaurin and a Burrow in a 2 QB league if I could get that done for a Debo. Debo's got such high value right now. You could I know in a 2 QB league getting a Burrow is pretty hard, or Herbert or Burrow. But when you're talking about a guy that's as flashy as Debo right now, coming off the game he just had, on top of what he's done all year, people are going to overspend. He's very injury prone too, so it's not the craziest thing in the world to get a Burrow or a Herbert and a McLaurin. McLaurin's got such low value right now. That would be a home run move for you. Then when Kyler comes back, boom. The reason you're drunk, let's see, because this is, I don't think you were fully listening, but the reason you're drunk on CMC is because I can see him not being a top 3 pick with a season-ending injury. But even if he can produce for another week and get injured, God forbid, people will draft upside. I don't know how that's drunk, bro. Let's take a poll. Gary. Let's take a poll. If Christian McCaffrey gets injured and doesn't finish the year, who here would draft him in the top 10? Yes or no? Let's see how, and you can answer honestly. I'm not trying to, I just want to get a feel. I might be wrong. But if Christian McCaffrey goes down, let's say 2 weeks from now, with a season-ending injury, who's spending a top 10 pick on him? Gary, I can almost guarantee you this is not going to be good. But let's see. If he goes down, who's spending a top 10 pick on Christian McCaffrey next year? I don't know if that's questions for this, Avi. Oh, I just got rid of Terry's super chat. Terry, I'm going to have to go find it again. Justin says yes. Avi, you already said yes. You can't say yes twice. William says easily. Jamie says no. Gary, you already said yes. Blackbeard says no. I wouldn't. CMC rhymes with injury. Jacob says you have to, right? No, that's what I'm describing. No, you don't have to, because he's proven that he'll get hurt. Is what he's proven, Jacob. If he gets hurt. Yes, 6 earliest. No, says Captain. Don't want to draft him at all, says Bernard. 7 to 10, says Avi. Avi, you've already answered this. CMC is the 1.1 next year, says Fantasy Dad. His upside is good. CMC rhymes with injury. Already got that one. Cook or Camaro rest of season. I'll get to that in a minute. It's probably leaning more toward yes, for sure. But I don't think that's drunk, bro. I think there are a lot of people that agree. The reason I'm arguing it, though, is because I feel like a majority of people would just take them anyway. And so that's kind of my point. But no, it's... sorry, Avi. Maybe I saw the same message. My bad. Take a lap, me. I think we saw from the vote that he's still going in the top 10 next year. We'll see, Jackson, because if he goes down... I have a feeling there will be a different mood in here. Right now, he's not down. People are not super, super down on him. I think the mood will change dramatically if he goes down with it. I've seen it before. I've seen it too many times. I've seen how fickle everybody can be. And I'm not saying that they would be wrong in this case. I'm not saying anybody would be fickle here. But the fact that people are so reactive in general over an injury, if he tore his MCL or quad or calf, not only are you going to be worried about that injury, like, keep in mind, like, here's what you got to understand here too, is that Avi or Gary or whoever, if he goes down for the year, what is the injury? If something takes him out that is season ending, bro, he's not coming back from a torn ACL on fire. He's not coming back from a grade 2 MCL sprain on fire. He's not coming back from a torn Achilles or a ripped groin. You know, like, what is the injury? The injury is going to determine a lot. Let's see. I'm trying to find Terry's super chat because I lost it. Terry, can you paste your question again, bro? I don't know where it went. Mr. Punch, I appreciate your super chat. And Mr. Punch, would you DM me again and just put bump or whatever so that I have it at the top of my Instagrams? And I'm gonna leave you some voice messages and try and help you as well. But my in general advice for you is Tua's a good play in your situation. You gotta wait on Kyler, then you got a bye week, which really sucks. But I think you'll probably be okay, assuming you can grab that last playoff spot. And Debo might be the guy you trade away if you need something. Gary says, just pray he doesn't get injured at some point, but I still would take him top 10 bearing a season-ending injury. We shall see, my man. We shall see. I don't know. I like CMC. Like, I've always liked CMC. He's done nothing but bring us goodness. I'm not rooting against him by any means, but and again, Mr. Punch, appreciate you, buddy, dropping the massive super chat. You are an OG of the show, and I thank you greatly. 6-4, too many players on my bench that scored points. Judy, Davis, Kirk, Bateman. 14 points needed to make a trade. 14 points need to make a trade. Rock out, list your team, and let's go through it. Actually, Rock out, leave me a couple voice messages with your scenario, and I will go ahead and You guys want to talk to Dr. Raj real quick, and then we'll get to these super chats. Hang tight. Let's go. Let's talk. Let's get on Dr. Raj's live stream.
We're 150K today. We made 150K. Season. But keep the faith, man. Keep the faith. Believe me.
Let's see. Let's talk to Dr. Raj here. Dr. Raj, live on YouTube.
I love you guys, and I believe in this team.
Raj, you're live on.
Let's go with Victory Monday, man.
Talk to the YouTube people. You're live. You got 200. You got. Hey, Raj, you're live on YouTube. I got 243 people in here. You need to tell them what you're feeling. Debo who? Debo who? Debo. Bro, congrats on the win. I know you're excited. Just wanted to get you on YouTube real quick. People are saying hi to you. 243 in here right now. We're streaming. We're doing the buy low, sell high for week 11. But
Bye, baby. Bye, Debo Samuel all day.
Bye, Debo. All right, buddy. Good job. Congrats on the win, pal.
Let me get an owl real quick. Can I get a boo?
Who?
Smitty, give me a boo.
Who? Oh, Odell Beckham Jr. Who? That's who. Odell Beckham Jr. is on the way, the wrong way. Odell Beckham.
I never heard of Odell Beckham.
Hey, what the Niners lose it again the rest of the season? Are the Niners going to lose again the rest of the season? I'm trying to get a yes. I'm trying to get a no. I know, but I'm trying to get a hyped up, like you were hyped earlier, like we're winning out. I was just trying to get some confirmation here.
I don't know if we're winning out. We go one game at a time.
Smitty, let us enjoy tonight, man.
Yeah. Congrats. I was trying to hype the vibe. I was trying to get we're winning out. Hey. I think Kittle. What do you think of Kittle the rest of the way? Everyone here wants to know what to do with Kittle. Is Kittle gonna continue to play good? What's your predictions with Kittle?
Because I think he's generally irritated with people coming at him. Because a lot of people have been putting a lot of hate on his name. Let's be honest, because he hasn't stayed healthy, right? Man, 2 games back, he got 2 touchdowns. This man is coming for blood. Him and Jimmy have a good connection in the red zone. come for George Kittle.
Okay. I appreciate you, man.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. It was a good game. Like that. I'll admit, you guys look like the Niners you've been pumping up all off season. Like that looked like the team. You know what I mean? Like it looked good. Looked good.
Yo, Smitty, you smoking that Colt McCoy pack?
I'm smoking the Kyler Murray pack, and Kyler will be back. Don't you worry about that.
God, you better hope to God that man's coming back.
I don't think he's coming back this week, though. I think he's coming back after the bye. So I think they rest him this week. They rest Hopkins. We're probably gonna maybe lose another game. Then we got a bye week, and then we come in. We're looking good. So it'll probably be a rough week 11. I'll put it that way. Dude, my Cardinals have been doing good all year. You can't bring down the Cardinal vibe either, just like I couldn't bring down the Niner vibe. All right, Raj.
Yeah, it was a tough one against Thursday.
Yo, real quick before you go, Kyle Shanahan was in his back tonight. This was the game that changed his season, man. This is it. Kyle Shanahan, he put on a clinic. He owns Sean McVay.
He did.
Definitely did.
I want to play. I want to make the. This is what I want, Smitty. I want to make the playoffs. I want the Niners to make playoffs and play the Cardinals and smoke shit the hell out of the Cardinals. That's what I want to do. I want to beat the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. That's it, baby. Let's go.
Can,
And you know what? If we play you in the playoffs, I will bet you the stupid hot chip challenge once again. I will do that shit again.
for those of you watching, he got real cocky when the Niners played the Cardinals, and they begged me to do a hot chip challenge. And Raj, tell them who ate the hot chip.
I ate it, but guess what? Next time I ain't eating no damn hot chip. I'll never eat another one again. You're gonna eat that. You're gonna have ulcers. I don't
Smitty,
go to
Smitty.
the hospital. We come in. We smoke for that Rams pack. We smoke for that Colt McCoy pack. Better believe it. You play us in the playoffs. Third time
Smitty.
charm.
Yeah. What's up?
If we make the playoffs, if the Niners make the playoffs, you gotta eat another chip, bro, or one chip at least. I don't know if you ate one already.
No, I don't eat the chips if I don't lose, bro. He's gonna bet me the Cardinals versus the Niners. We'll go chip. I don't just eat one for nothing, bro.
If we play the guys in the playoffs, and we lose, I'll eat 3 chips on live in front of everybody.
Okay,
3 of the fucking pocket chips.
Well, yeah, we'll see. He's gonna eat 3 Pocky chips if the Cardinals get beat by the Niners if they meet each other in the playoffs. We'll see about that. I would gladly watch you.
You gotta eat the chip, and you gotta say the Niners are the greatest team in the NFC.
And what about you? Are you gonna say the Cardinals are the greatest team to ever walk the earth? No. Are you gonna say it though? I just want you to say it.
I don't know if I'll ever walk the earth.
No, I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying you got to say it. I'm gonna make you. All right, guys. I got to get back to my live stream.
All right, man. Get back to your YouTube. My man's 49er video. What's that, baby boy? Say thank you.
Okay. Anyway, Doc, they're really a little off. You know, they're out of the realm of reality. Like they're pumped up. They act like the Cardinals haven't been doing anything all year when they talk about it. I'm behind on these super chats. Give me a second. Smitty's #1 fan. Somebody. Okay. Let's go ahead and get to some of these super chats. Matt, appreciate the super chat. Thank you, good buddy. What else we got here? I'm gonna see if I got any other calls. All right, this one's from Matt. Your old adult nightclub manager back. CMC, Swift, Gibson, Moss, Dillon. Running back, you got Kupp, Renfro, A-Rob, Ayuk, Ridley, Higgins, Dallas, Goddard. Okay. Or is that your defense? QB, 12-team PPR. Do I overpay for Burrow? It depends, man. It depends. I mean, like, what are you talking for Burrow? You talking about a what? Ayuk? Are you talking about a Gibson? I don't pay any higher than that. You're not getting rid of CMC or Swift for him, But Gibson, I could potentially see you doing that if you desperately need a quarterback. Who's your quarterback? Who are you starting right now? Is it Matty? Matty Nice? I think you mean Matty Ice. Matty Ice at quarterback? I don't know. I mean, Burrow's definitely solid, bro. Definitely solid, but I don't know if I'm going to be overspending. Tough to say. Let's see here. I have DK, and I'll see if they bite. Smitty, not me. Smitty, I offered Hollywood Brown and Kittle for Chase, and he accepted. I like that. I take Chase, bro. I like it. That's good. Okay, Matt, super chat. Terry Roberts, super chat. Terry, can you please paste your other question again about Kyler Murray? Because I can't seem to find it, bro. Rock out. Okay, I think I'm caught up on my super chats. Let me get through these real quick. God, we got a packed house tonight, and I got super chats galore. I'm way behind on, and I got rock out's voicemail. Okay, won my other league also, 5-5. Nice job, Derek. Nice job, buddy boy. We've got this super chat and that super chat. We'll get to those in a second. Mike says, 12 team want to trade Chubb before Hunt comes back. Who should I target for him? 8-2. Also just got offered CMC for JT. I say no to that. I would rather have JT than I would rather have CMC right now. Should I take it? No. And who? JT's probably the number 1 or number 2 overall player. I wouldn't blame anybody for banking on Christian McCaffrey over JT. It's not take a lap material, but I certainly wouldn't do it. I love JT right now. I don't trust CMC fully, so I would definitely not take that trade. But as far as trading Chubb, be careful because Chubb is going to be fine. They're going to continue to feed him. I don't know if I worry too much about Hunt. Dearness Johnson is really good all in his own right, so I would probably be very, very careful trading Chubb. But could you get like a Jamar Chase and Connor? I would do that. I would take Jamar Chase and Connor for Chubb. I'm more likely to take a big name wide receiver like DK or a potential. You probably can't get Lamb anymore. Jefferson, maybe someone sells him cheaper than they should. DK maybe. McLaurin maybe, and then pair another running back to replace Chubb. But it's got to be a good running back. It's got to be somebody you like Swift. It's got to be somebody undervalued like Swift or a potential James Conner. But James Conner and like a DK I would take, or Jamar Chase especially. So like that's something I would do. But I don't know that I'm trading Chubb. Maybe Swift. Could you take Swift over Chubb? I could see that, but try and get more. Want a scooter show soon? Mighty Buffoon wants a scooter show soon. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it live. I think I answered this one here. Matty Ice is okay. I'm not sure I'm forcing a bad trade or something to get Burrow in when you've got Matty Ice. I don't love Matty Ice, but I also wonder what other quarterbacks are available. But I would give up Gibson potentially. Gibson's a good sell high. We didn't finish the buy low sell highs. We got Elliott up here, and we might want to talk about Gibson before this ends. Rock out. Let me listen to your voicemail in a second. Hey, Smitty, 12 team, 6 point for TD passes. Trade Hurts and Hopkins for Stafford and Cooper. No, I don't. I'd rather wait on Hopkins than to trade for Cooper. And Hurts is playing good. Hurts is good. Stafford is good too, but Stafford had a bad game, and I think even though I feel like Stafford will rebound, you could probably buy him lower than normal right now. So I'm not liking that deal specifically. Gibson and Renfro for Burrow. It was Matty. No ice. Okay. I don't mind that trade for Burrow if you feel like this is a move that's going to help you win your league. And it could. I like Burrow a lot going forward, but Gibson, if he bounces back, you're going to be pretty upset at yourself. But I kind of feel like this is the time to use Gibson. I'm going to talk about Gibson before the show ends. Elliott and Gibson as potential sell highs. Not that I hate Elliott. Obviously, I pumped him up probably more than any analyst you know walking into 2021. So Elliott's been delivering. He's done us well. Those of us that have drafted Elliott, we have done very well. He has given us a solid return on our investment, but it's time to potentially explore selling him high. Gibson too. So I don't mind this. I think it could come back to bite you, but I think it's also a pretty safe move for you because now's the time to maybe sell on Gibson. You're not drunk, Smitty. Thank you. Appreciate that. Smitty mad drunk listing Cooper Kupp as a buy low. Not really, bro. Not really. Anytime a guy has a bad game, people freak out. And we got a couple questions right from the jump. What do you think about Kupp going forward? Like, why are people asking the question? You got to ask yourself that. You got to wonder, bro. You got to wonder. Smitty, where can I upgrade? Go after Chase, 6 and 4, 12 team, PPR, Kyler, Tyreek, Thielen, Najee, Zeke, J-Rob, Kittle, Gesicki, Hunt, Myers, Landry. I would probably definitely keep Najee. You could trade Zeke, but you'd have to sell him high. I would trade J-Rob. I would trade potentially Kittle or Gesicki. I would try trading J-Rob and Kittle for Jamar Chase and something. I would go after that, and I'd go after it pretty hardcore. I think that would be an amazing move. And you do say chasing your question too, but yes, I would go after Chase. I would use J-Rob and Kittle. Of course, I would try to give up as little as possible, but that seems like something you'd have to give up in order to get him. Connor and D-Hop for Diggs. And Javonte. Yeah, I'd take Diggs and Javonte. Because Hopkins Hopkins and Connor, the Cardinals, they have a bye coming up. And Hopkins could sit this week, so it's 2 weeks you're going to be without him. I'd take Javonte and Diggs. Javonte might be in the lineup by the time Hopkins and comes back. So who knows? Zinski, would you trade Aaron Jones for Amari Cooper? It depends on the scenario, but probably not, bro. I feel like that's not enough. I mean, missing 1 to 2 weeks is not worth selling low on, bro, and that's selling low. That's selling very low. Scott says, Smitty, what are your thoughts on Evans and Gibson rest of season? I like Evans. He'll be hot and cold as all those Tampa guys are sometimes. But I think he's got the potential go forward to be a top 12 to 14 wide receiver. I think because he'll have bad games and very good games, Evans could finish right around 12 or 11 to 14. But that's a really good wide receiver. That's just outside of wide receiver 1 material. Gibson, I'm going to talk about him at the end, but I'll just say this. I'll say that Gibson's a very good sell high because we have the potential to get rid of him now for pretty decent return. And if we're wrong and Gibson does continue to do well, guess what? We got rid of him for value that afforded us another player we really like. So the way I see it with guys like Gibson is it's time to sell on Gibson when you can get a solid return because you're worried about it being just a 1 week, injection of fantasy points and then he goes back down to nothing. If he doesn't do anything the next game, if he doesn't do anything in this next week 11 contest, he will have no value because people will have seen him bounce back and then bounce right back down. And once you see that, you realize it's a pattern and it wasn't his bounce back. If people think this was his bounce back game, and it might be, you can get a lot for it, but you're not going to be able to sell them later. So buy something you love so that you have no buyer's remorse if Gibson works out. So it's all about what you're getting back, and I'll talk about that again in a little bit. Couple super chats here. Fane says, quick follow-up, Smitty, would you rather have Kittle or Gesicki rest of season? I'd rather have Kittle, but Kittle will sell more and for higher, I believe. So keep Gesicki, sell Kittle. Kittle will get you more, I think, in trade. If he doesn't, if you'd rather have Gesicki, I'd rather you keep Kittle, but Kittle's going to get you way more in trade. Hey, Smitty, trade Barkley for Fournette, and you didn't like it, so I flipped it for Diggs. Fantastic. So in the end, you traded Barkley for Diggs. Absolutely fantastic move. Did you do that before week 11? If so, congrats on the massive Diggs explosion in week number 10, bro. But awesome move. 7-3, Lamar, Kamara, Peterson, sorry about losing Patterson. Sorry about losing Patterson for a couple weeks, broski. He's probably out a couple weeks. Jamar Chase, CD, Madison, Dillon. Congrats on Dillon. One door closes with Patterson for now. One door opens with Dillon for now. So awesome job with team management there and depth and stockpiling. Waller, Javonte, hang tight with Waller and rewatch the show when I talk about Waller if you weren't here. Javonte's on the eventually going to be on the rise. Right now it just sucks. We're watching the Broncos destroy him. And just waste his talent away. Not destroy him, but waste his talent away. Javonte had a big TD run call back. He had a good day. It didn't show up on the stat line. But if you watched the game, you knew that he was still explosive and looked great. They just need to feed him. We don't know when it's going to be, and we could be disappointed all year. We know that. That's possible here. Daryl Williams, good sell high candidate if anybody's, buying off of stat lines and not understanding the situation that Clyde is coming back. Ingram, I'd sell him to the Kamara owner, or you are the Kamara owner. I would keep him then. Keep him cuffed to Kamara. That's really, really solid. Dillon's going to be amazing for you the next couple weeks. Tony, Ridley, Edmonds, any trades you should make. I would potentially look to trade. I don't know that you can make any trades, bro. I don't want you trading CD. I don't want you trading Jamar Chase. Kamara, if you could get enough, would be an interesting player to move. But with Kamara and Dillon and with Lamar and those wide receivers, I say stay, bro. The only thing I would look to do is maybe go to the Clyde owner, try and trade him Daryl Williams on the high, and try and get some kind of upgrade with potentially, I don't know, let's say a wide like a Mike Williams. Like if he had like a Mike Williams, I would just take Mike Williams and have him as a flex because I think he's a good buy low. I don't think you got to make a move, bro. That team is really good. I wouldn't mess with it too much. Saquon for Chase. I'd take Chase in a heartbeat over Saquon Barkley. Jamar Chase is going to go crazy. Guy wants Zeke instead. What are my thoughts? I don't trade Zeke for Jamar unless you can weather the hit pretty well at running back. And I imagine you can't. Most people couldn't. I'm going to say push for Saquon. Try and give him Saquon and a little bit more if you've got it. I'd overpay to get rid of Saquon to get Jamar than I would flirt with getting rid of Zeke for Saquon. I don't mind trading Zeke away for like a big wide receiver like Chase and Connor. Like if you can get a Connor with it, but not straight up. Carlos, thank you. Scott with a super chat, thank you. Garrett, appreciate it, pal. I'm not sure if I've dragged all of these onto the screen yet, but I'm going to do it just in case. Smitty, I'm 6-4. Is this the Kyler one? Okay. Terry Roberts, thank you for the super chat on this one. Sorry I couldn't find it. I'm 6-4 in the fourth spot, top 6 making the playoffs. Should I try and trade Kyler? It depends what you can get, man. Terry, if you can get like a Burrow and something, and then you don't have to weather through Kyler missing potentially this week and then the bye week. I mean, it's something to think about, bro. But it'd have to be like Burrow and something. You know, Kyler, being that you're 6-4, you're in 4th place. You're who's your backup? Because if you can make it through these next 2 weeks, Kyler's going to potentially win you the chance. You know, he's going to take you through the playoffs, bro, and single-handedly help you win games, I think. I love Kyler. He just needs to get on the field. He's going to be phenomenal once he is. I would rather you wait. Because I don't think you're going to get what you want in a trade for Kyler. I don't think anybody's going to overpay for Kyler. I don't want you trading Kyler. Dillon for Diggs to the Aaron Jones owner. Daniel, I would take Diggs, bro, in a heartbeat. And I love White's your quarterback. Who else can you pick up? Cooper, Kupp, Hopkins, Mike Williams at wide receiver. Also have Kamara, Mixon, J-Rob at running back. Should I trade Robinson plus Mark Andrews for Jefferson? I also have Thomas. Also have Kamara, Mixon. Okay, so Kupp, Hopkins, and Mike Williams. I love those wide receivers. Once Hopkins gets back, you're good there. Kamara, Mixon, J-Rob. That's good. Should I try and trade J-Rob and Andrews for Jefferson? I would. I would take Justin Jefferson over Andrews and J-Rob. Yeah, I mean, try and get more. Try and get a tight end. Try and get something. But I like the idea, and I like where you're headed with that. But I definitely would try and get more. What can I get selling high on Dillon? I have Murray, Diggs, Jefferson as my wide receivers. Cook, JT, Carter, Hunt, and my running backs are tight ends are Muth and Fant. I hope you have Madison, by the way. JT Cook, Jefferson, Diggs. I mean, Dillon and a player. Dillon and wide receiver 3. You didn't list everybody. But let's say Dillon and a wide receiver 3 to get a potential. Would I trade Dillon for McLaurin in your shoes? Maybe. But I don't know, man. I'd maybe let Dillon ride for a couple weeks, bro, and help get you secure that playoff spot. If you've already locked in the playoffs, I probably would try and trade for a player that's going to help you in the playoffs because Dillon might be out of the lineup by then. So it kind of depends on your record. But a McLaurin, you probably are reaching too high to ask for DK. You're probably reaching too high to ask for an A.J. Brown, even struggling, but maybe go after A.J. Brown. Even though I worry about A.J. Brown, he's a good buy low if you can get him that low. Hopkins would be interesting, bro, for Dillon. If you're in a spot where you don't need Dillon right now, like you're already locked into the playoffs. But if you need to get a playoff spot, bro, keep Dillon and ride the wave because he looks phenomenal. Thomas with a super chat. Thoughts on trading away Mark Andrews and Odell for Diggs? Do it, bro. For a Diggs or DK, either one. Diggs, DK, Lamb, potentially A.J. Brown, definitely Jamar Chase. Probably not McLaurin, but maybe. That would be the bottom of the barrel, and I'd try and shoot higher than that. I'd definitely go with those bigger name guys. I was offered a trade, Cooper for Dillon. I'd rather have Dillon right now. I'd rather get Dillon's production, and he's still flex worthy even when Aaron Jones is back. And who knows what's going to happen when Aaron Jones comes back? Who knows how healthy he'll be in his first game back? Dillon could play 3 total games at elite production. We don't know. It could be 4. It could get worse. Aaron Jones is very injury prone. What can I get for Gibby? Could I use another good wide receiver? I could use another good wide receiver. So McLaurin was one of the ones I was tossing out. DK, A.J. Brown, all those guys. Would you use Gibby as trade bait or Carter as trade bait? Took my first loss of the year today. Wow, you've been on fire. Wide receivers are Evans and Cook and Renfro. Man, you've been winning with those wide receivers. That's impressive. I would trade Gibby for Hopkins or McLaurin. Hopkins would be great for you, Scott, because you've got such a great record. It doesn't matter. You can wait on Hopkins, bro. Trade for Hopkins. Try and get Kyler too. Unless your quarterback's, Josh Allen or Mahomes or something, but Kyler would be a good buy low. But I would go get Hopkins, bro. Go get Hopkins. That will help you tremendously. Forever, thank you for the super chat. Kupp, Hopkins, and Mike Williams at wide receiver. Also have Kamara, Mixon, J-Rob at running back. Should I trade Robinson plus Mark Andrews for Jefferson? I think I already answered this one. Yeah, I already did. Got hair all over in this house. I have hair wrapped around my neck. Those of you guys with daughters and a bunch of females in the house, you know what I'm talking about. I'll literally be like, what is this? And I'll pull out this. I'll have this hair wrapped around my neck. It's like they're trying to strangle me. It's all in my laundry. It's in my clothes. I'm wrapped in hair. It's like I'm wearing it all over. I hope Miss Smitty isn't hearing me right now. We'll see if he gets breakfast again. Should I ride with this team or make a trade for the playoffs? 10-man, half PPR. I'm 8-2. Congrats. Herbert. Running backs are Zeke and Saquon. I have Booker too. I would sell Saquon high if you can. Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Fant, Flex, Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown. I would make a few trades, bro. I would try and trade Saquon. I would try and get into a Swift and another player. And I bet you in this league, you could potentially get Swift and like a McLaurin for Saquon. You know, I'd try something like that. So go to the Swift owner, see if they have a wide receiver similar to McLaurin, and try and pull that off. And, you know, depending on your depth, like if you got a Cooks or somebody, you could throw him back just to make it look okay. I would do that. I would trade Saquon for Jamar Chase and try and get another running back if you can. I mean, obviously, you know, depending on how smart the individual is at fantasy football, you might not be able to even get Jamar Chase. But if you can get Jamar Chase because Saquon's a running back and he's coming back, we don't even know if he's coming back, but we think he is. We think he's coming back this week. I would try and get that done. Try and trade for a Kamara using Saquon because he's been out. Nick Chubb's been out. These are all decent options, I think, for over Saquon that I like better than Saquon. So I would probably attack that. I appreciate your super chat very, very much. And another couple players just to give you an idea of what running backs I like. If we're talking Saquon, if you go Connor, who I really like going forward, I don't care about week 10. Make sure you get a huge wide receiver like Jamar Chase, DK, or Diggs or someone like that. And you might not be able to get a couple of those guys because they blew up. But if you get a wide receiver like Diggs or Jefferson or whatever with Connor, then you can trade Saquon. But don't trade Saquon for just Connor, if you know what I mean. Kamara, I buy low on. Eckler, Chubb, Dalvin Cook. You might be able to trade Saquon and something for Dalvin Cook, and that's a little risky. Try and get Madison if he's got Madison, but just a couple ideas. I think there's some ways to get out of Saquon that isn't disrespectful to the potential value he has. It's just safer. I own Lamar. Running backs are Mixon, Hendy, Gibby, and Carter. I don't know what the question was, bro. Let me go find it. These things go in one ear, not the other. I have so many things that hit me. I'm sensory overload. I live in sensory overload worlds. There's no way to remember anything. Let's see. Gibby, trade Gibby, Hendo, Gibby, Carter, Mixon. I also like the idea of trading Mixon high if you can, but I think work on Gibby first. Definitely go try buying a Jamar Chase somehow. Go try buying a Swift. Go try buying, Jefferson, DK. I love all this. Like I said, I would trade Gibby for potentially McLaurin straight up if we're just talking wide receivers. Hopkins would be great if you could weather that. Hopkins is a great buy low, but you got to understand he could be out for not only this coming game, but he's on a bye. Snakey, appreciate you. Scott, appreciate that follow-up super chat. Good buddy. You are the man. And thank you, 420, again for your question. And let me know if you have any follow-ups, and I hope you can pull something off. 5-5 after tonight, kicking myself for not starting Ramondre Stevenson. Is okay, buddy. But join me the entire 1 hour leading into kickoff on Instagram. My handle's the same as my show, The Fantasy Football Show. So on Instagram, follow me at The Fantasy Football Show. The entire 1 hour leading into kickoff, I'm live every Sunday morning. And I was pounding the ground for Stevenson. Everybody start this, man. Do it now. Do it now. I did it for an hour. Like every question that came up, it was Stevenson. And it was like, go Stevenson. Go Stevenson. So if you would have watched that show, Snake Eyes, you would have heard me beating the table, Stevenson, all morning long. But nice work having him. We have been rolling with Stevenson. Yeah, we're rolling with Stevenson until we hear otherwise. Bill Belichick's like, we're benching him or we get a bad vibe or something like that. But for now, until we hear otherwise, and you can check with me on Friday night, Saturday night. I'm live midnight on Eastern, so check with me and we'll go over it then. Even when Damian Harris comes back, I have CMC and Eli Mitchell. I believe Eli Mitchell's a good sell high. I don't like how this is feeling for some reason. Jeff Wilson could gain more and more work, and if Eli Mitchell gets banged up at all, and Jeff Wilson comes in and looks good, he would keep the job. I firmly believe Shanahan's capable of that. So look to sell Eli Mitchell high. Keep Stevenson. I don't think you could sell him high enough that I'd be comfortable trading him. He's really, really good, bro. I've loved Stevenson for a long time now. And I'm not recommending anybody selling him unless you can sell him really, really high. Thank you for the super chat, Snake Eyes. Appreciate you. Thank you, Snakey. Okay, Slater. I have Wilson, DK, Lamb, Keenan Allen, JT, Melvin Gordon, Hawkinson on my bench, Boyd, Callaway, Thomas, Madison, Bridgewater, 12-team PPR. I'm 6-4. Should I make a trade? So you got DK, Lamb, love it. Keenan Allen, very undervalued. JT, absolutely love it. Wilson, don't worry about Wilson. He'll bounce back. I mean, he's not an amazing lock going forward as a top, 5 quarterback, but he could definitely dance in and out of there. Let's see here. Bridgewater. Okay, so Wilson, DK, Lamb, Keenan Allen, Melvin. So I love JT. I don't love your running back too in Melvin Gordon, but he is producing and doing well. Maybe you go get Javonte. His owner might be really, really frustrated, but I don't know what you can trade because Boyd, Callaway, Logan Thomas, these aren't amazing options. Maybe go to the Cook owner and see what the Cook owner will give you for Madison, but do not sell him low. We're talking you're trading like Hawkinson to Waller to give him Madison. You're talking about, and maybe you don't even want to do that. We're talking about trading Boyd for, what wide receiver can you upgrade to? I don't know. Go get a Hawkinson or go get a Hopkins, and use like Matt. Like if you had the Cook owner has Hopkins, you could send him a bench wide receiver in Madison because he's probably freaking out. Oversell him. I don't know Hawkinson if you can get much for. Melvin Gordon, you could sell to the Javonte owner for a running back and then give him, a player like Hawkinson if you can afford to grab a tight end off waivers and you like a couple tight ends. Like maybe you can trade Gordon Hawkinson for some kind of safer running back play. Past that, I don't see how you can make a trade. Don't sell DK. Don't sell Lamb. Keenan Allen, you can't sell him. JT, I'd only sell if you were going to get like Swift and Diggs or Swift and Jefferson or Swift and DK. Or Eckler and McLaurin or something, like you could explore that, like go to the Eckler owner, see if a deal can be done where you get a big wide receiver. And I'm talking like got to flirt with wide receiver 1 value, like McLaurin, somebody undervalued. Hopkins and Eckler for JT if you have the record to, and you do, I think 6-2 to weather through waiting on Hopkins. But those are the only ways I would trade, bro, in your exact scenario. Kurt, appreciate you. Saeed, if I missed a super chat, can you guys let me know right now? 97 likes. Let's hit 100 plus, please, says Terry. It does help the channel when you guys punch that thumbs up. We had like 200 to 250 people in and out of the chat. And guys, be kind to everybody in the chat or the mods are going to hit you. So let's not get crazy in the chat and start talking to people that way. The mods have full authority to mute you or worse. So
hey Smitty, my situation is I got 2 flexes and I'm always in a hit or miss type of situation. Like this week I had Devonte Williams that missed and Michael Carter that hit. So the one that misses usually cost me the week or it's closer than it needed to be.
okay. And then this question here for Eduardo, do I trade? Oh, that wasn't it. I'll answer this one anyway. Should I trade Pittman and Chase for Claypool and AJ Brown? No, I wouldn't trade. No, I wouldn't. Even if you didn't get Pittman, bro, I wouldn't trade Jamar Chase alone for Claypool and AJ Brown. You're going to give Pittman too? Heck no, Eduardo. No, bro. No. Where was that other trade? Let's see here. Where is that one. I can't find it.
So I'm basically trying to trade players from my bench because I got too many receivers. And maybe try to find a better running back or a stud wide receiver. Like top 15, top 18 wide receiver or running back.
Okay, let's listen. He has 2 more messages here real quick. Bear with me.
And the players I could use is Devonte Williams, Michael Carter, Corey Davis, Kurt, Judy. I also got AB and Bateman. So those are some options I could probably pair. And the players I could use is Devonte Williams, Michael Carter, Corey Davis.
Let me rock out. Let me hit these after the show because there's so many of them. Let me hit these after the show and I'll take care of you. I promise. I'll go right to it when we're done, and I'll hit it and help you until we get it. And yeah, I'm sorry about my Cooper Kupp saying a bad game. I didn't mean to say bad game necessarily. I just mean there's a lot of negativity right now about the Rams. So the Rams had a bad game. So I'm sorry about that. Cooper Kupp, I'll even take him off. So you got to stop with the negativity on it. I'm just telling you, a lot of people are asking me, are the Rams, is there something to be worried about? Do I sell Cooper Kupp now? So he's a potential buy low. I shouldn't have used the words that Kupp had a bad game. I meant to say Rams. So when the Rams look as bad as they did, people start freaking out. They start worrying about Stafford. They start bringing up his name as, is this a quarterback that's going to collapse down the stretch? It's enough questions that come in when I see it in volume that I know. So let me preface why. Because a lot of people are, I think, taking that out of context. And it's my fault for wording it the way I did. It's my bad. Take a lap. What I'm saying is when I see volume come in on a player that's negative, and it's not necessarily negative on Kupp, it's negative on his team and his situation, it tells me that people are willing to move him more than you would expect. And so I'm getting enough text volume on this particular topic that people are worried about, should they sell high now on Kupp if things collapse. That's what I'm trying to say. I worded it wrongly. It's my bad. And Elliot, let's finish this because Elliot's been sitting up here. Elliot needs to potentially be looked at as a sell high, not because I don't like him, not because he can't have a good finish to the year or stay healthy. He could, and I'm only selling him high. He's taking care of us. We drafted him. People thought it was crazy to draft him. He's done. He looks horrible. Yeah, sorry, I worded the Cooper Kupp stuff wrong. I didn't mean to say it like that. Saeed, I'll get to you in 1 second. Sell Elliott if you can, and an example would be Swift and a wide receiver, McLaurin and Swift, or whatever helps you in case Elliott does drop a little in production, because if the volume's not there or the yardage, what did Zeke Elliott finish with total on the game? Because you can't take the touchdowns away. The touchdowns are the touchdowns that the guy gets. You know, you can't sit there and go, oh, well, because he only had touchdowns, he's not like that's part of his game. But he had gone 3 straight games without a score on the ground. And did he have a receiving one? No, he didn't. So he went 3 straight games without a touchdown, only had 14 carries, averaged 2.9 yards a carry, got 41 yards and 2 touchdowns, pulled in 3 receptions for 15 yards. It wasn't a phenomenal game for Zeke. The touchdown saved his game. The week prior, 10 carries. The week prior to that, 3.1 yards per carry, 16 totes of the rock. He hadn't looked good the week before that, 4.1 yards per carry, no touchdowns. He did catch one, I believe, that game. Didn't he? Let's see here. No, he didn't. It was the week before that. So before the bye week, he had 69 yards, 7 receptions for 50 yards. He did decent that game in total yards. He had over 100 total yards. Had the bye week, and then literally has had 2 bad games in a row, 2 mediocre games in a row at least, and then now has a game with 2 touchdowns but low volume. It's just something to be concerned about, and at the right price, I would sell him. I don't sell him low. I don't hate Zeke. I'm not predicting him to be a total bust going forward, but he's a great sell high because he has more perceived value than I think he probably should have. And if you can get into a safer option, I would. If you could go across position and get Jamar Chase and something, then I would do it. Like if someone's going to give you a running back you can utilize and use. Maybe Cordero Patterson, because he's hurt, gets thrown into a deal like that. Jamar Chase and Cordero for Zeke, or DK and Cordero for Zeke, or James Conner and DK, or James Conner and a player. I don't know. Anything like that would make me consider potentially getting out of Zeke if it was the right price deal. But it has to be the right price. It cannot be something that isn't completely, amazing value. Thank you, Rock Out, again. I'm going to take care of you right after the show, pal. It was just too many messages, and I didn't want to slow down the show trying to figure that out, because it's hard for me to process that while I got all these other things going on, and it's my bad. It's my bad. I told you to do it. But I want to help you in tremendous detail, Rock Out, because you're an OG. You're always super chatting. You're always supporting the show, so I want to give you my undivided attention in helping you. So hopefully that works for you. Just hang tight right after the show, and I'll go back and forth with you a little bit too. Montgomery for Aaron Jones. I mean, let's be honest. Like, as much as I want to say you got to do that, get Aaron Jones, it's tough because Monty's playing good. Now he's back. He's, he potentially could play good, but he could also be game scripted out. What did he finish with? David Montgomery. Maybe he didn't have the stats that I'm thinking of at the end of the game, but I think he played pretty well. Didn't he? Not really, actually. He started off good. That was it. Montgomery had a pretty good looking start, and then he got phased out, I think. So I'd take Aaron Jones. This is how the Chicago Bears are. 63 yards rushing, no touchdown, 2 receptions for 17 yards. Bye week. Ravens next week. Lions, Arizona. I probably would take Aaron Jones, but Barlow, it comes with some risk, man. You got to know what you're getting into there. It's not an easy call. Smitty, do I trade Allen for David Montgomery and Russell Wilson? So very timely read of that question, because I just talked about. Do I trade Allen? Is this Keenan Allen, bro? I assume it's Keenan. I'll answer it 2 ways because I want to make sure I take care of you. If it's Keenan Allen for David Montgomery and Russell Wilson, I believe it's Josh Allen because you're talking about Russell Wilson. I'd rather have... Oh, man. I'd rather have Josh Allen unless Montgomery's going to be like your running back 2 and you're hurting bad. Then I would contemplate it, but I still think I'd rather have Josh Allen. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say Josh Allen, bro. Josh Allen's too good. I'm not sending Josh Allen packing. I'm just not doing it. What do you think about DJ Moore? And thank you for the super chat, Saeed. Sorry it took so long. What do you think about DJ Moore? Do you think better days are ahead or abandon ship? I'd abandon ship at the right price. I don't know what that would be. It would probably be in a package deal. It would probably be in a deal where I'm reaching just another tier up to get a McLaurin. You know what I mean? Like, I think McLaurin would be a good buy low for you right now using DJ Moore. If you want to go across position, you could potentially get at running back. I mean, you might be able to get Connor and something. You might be able to get, I don't know. I'd probably say Connor and something. I think Connor is going to be a good buy for the coming weeks, and I'm not scared of the drop-off in production off one game. Also, guy with Devonte Adams wants Zeke and Mike Williams. Guy with Devonte Adams wants Zeke and Mike Williams. I would take Mike Williams, Deontay for him. Depends if you can get a running back thrown in. Like, what's he got? Like, that's taking a lot of players from you. Mike Williams, Deontay, and Zeke. Do Deontay and Zeke for Adams, but don't give him Mike Williams and Deontay. Or give him Mike Williams and Zeke and keep Deontay. I don't know that I'm giving him all three of those players. And if you're talking about slash like one or the other, then I guess this is okay, but I probably, it depends on your running backs too, though, man. It depends on your running backs, so I don't know that it's an easy call for me. Marcel has a super chat. Marcel, let me go find it. Here we go. Marcel with a super chat. 12-team PPR. I'm 7-3. My team is QB Stafford, Mac Jones, running back Eckler, Stevenson, Barkley, Hunt, Pollard, Drake. Wide receivers are Cup, Lamb, Mike Williams, Boyd, Pittman, tight end. What do you think I should do? Okay, don't freak out about Stafford. Is this a 2 QB league? Did I already read that? I don't think it is. So Stafford, Mac Jones. Okay, so Stafford. Don't freak out about Stafford. He'll be fine. Would I upgrade him? Sure. Let's see if we can find something. Eckler, Stevenson, Barkley. I like trading Barkley high. I like trading Barkley for Jamar Chase. I don't know if you can start 3 or 4 wide receivers, but your wide receivers are absolutely fire. Lamb, Cup, and I even like Mike Williams. I'm not sure I want to drive Mike Williams out of your lineup. I think he has a better finish to the season than people think. But would I rather have Jamar Chase? Absolutely. Eckler, Stevenson could be really good down the stretch. Maybe you poke around a Damian Harris to secure that Patriots backfield, although it could be freaking Bolden for all we know that's starting or that running back 2 role. But wouldn't be a bad idea to trade like Hunt and for something like Damian Harris and something, or Boyd for Damian Harris, or maybe you trade Pittman and Barkley for like Chubb. Maybe Barkley and Pittman, or Barkley and I'm trying to think if you could get a Dalvin Cook somehow. Make sure you try and get Madison too. Pittman and Hunt for Swift. I don't know if Swift's going to be that cheap though. Pittman and Barkley for Swift and a player. Like, these are just kind of things running through my mind. Some of them might be harder to get than they seem. And Barkley and Pittman for Jamar Chase and like a Connor or something like that. Like, look at the running backs that the Jamar Chase owner has. Try and give him Pittman and Barkley for Jamar Chase and a running back. Let me know if anything pops up along those lines, bro, and I'll try and navigate that with you real quick. Barlow says it's Mike Williams or Deontay. I like Adams over Zeke, but if your running backs are strong, if you feel like your running backs are going to be okay, adding in Deontay or Mike Williams, I don't love that. I probably add in Mike Williams over Deontay, but I do like either one. So if he said I want this one, you know, then I would be okay with either. But I'd try and get something back, a running back, Zach Moss or something that can help you at running back, bro. Just anything. Rockout says, do you have a vision board? Not, I mean, I don't. If you mean like, do I write stuff out as to what I want to accomplish? Not really, bro, because I mean, I have some things like that in my mind, you know, like goals and stuff, but my life is so spur of the moment and like impromptu that it's hard to plan a lot of things out. And I kind of like it that way. I kind of like not knowing what tomorrow holds, what I'm working on tomorrow. A lot of times for my YouTube content, especially in the off season, which is why I love the off season more than I love the in season. In season's so structured, but for the off season, I don't know what video I'm gonna do till I sit down and about 5 minutes before I record, I'll just hit a topic, and I like that. That's kind of how I live my life. But I mean, I have goals and stuff, if that's what you mean. Especially for the channel, I want to hit 100K on the channel. You know, within the next like 2 years. I think that would be, you know, objective number 1 for the channel and the show. I want to be number 1 on Spotify within 2 years for a video show. I want the content at Sleeper U to be bigger and better than it is right now. I want to have more time through the show being bigger and better, having more time to crank out content and having even better content at sleeperu.com, get more lifetime members, have better products, improve the site even. Like, I got a lot of goals like that. What if I offer up Dillon and J-Rob for Gesicki and Gesicki for Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase? Dillon, J-Rob, and Gesicki. You're not getting... Like, first of all, there's very little chance you get Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson for Thielen, J-Rob, and Gesicki. Like, both the players you're getting are better than any of the players he's got. So it's like, all you're doing is doing Thielen for JJ, he's getting blasted. And Jamar Chase for J-Rob, he's getting blasted. And the only thing you're giving him to get blasted in both trade downs is, hey, here's Gesicki for your troubles. And he's not going to do that. Try, but would I trade Thielen and J-Rob for like one of those guys? I mean, I'd almost be tempted to do that. That's how good both Jamar and JJ are. So, but certainly try. Kittle too much? No, I would do Kittle. If you throw Kittle into that deal and get it done, I still do it. I'd throw Kittle and Gesicki in and find some waiver tight end to get that done, bro. I'd give up all of it. All of them. J-Rob, Gesicki, Thielen, Kittle. I'd do all of it. I'm not saying Kittle and Gesicki, he wants both. I'm just trying to emphasize that the Jamar Chase and JJ side are crushing that side of the deal. Let's see here. I'm 10-0. Should I make any trades? Murray, Zeke, Eckler, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Mark Andrews, Patterson, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Carson, Jamar Chase. I love how Jamar Chase is at the bottom. I think it's because of the bye week, the way you cut and paste it or whatever. But it's like I'm going through and I'm about done. I almost stop reading, and then I see Jamar Chase, and it's like, whoa, okay, now I got to reset where my mind was going. So 10-0, 10-0, Keaton, 10-0. You can wait on Kyler. Don't trade Kyler. Zeke Elliott, again, I've talked about this all show. I would explore trying to get into a safer vehicle if possible, only because I worry about the breakdown. His value's so high. You could sidestep into something that's very safe, much safer that you like. Let's say, and in some cases it might not be safer, and it's just but if you could, because Swift's a big injury risk. I've talked about it all offseason long. And I'm liking his current value. It's different than it was on draft day, so things change for me. I evolve as the values change. I buy stocks that I won't buy on draft day during the season because it's a different buying perspective. So, could you trade Zeke for Swift and maybe get a wide receiver like McLaurin? So Swift and McLaurin for your Zeke. I would maybe do that. Patterson, that sucks, he got hurt. So Jamar Chase, Hill, Keenan Allen, Zeke, Eckler, Murray. I don't touch anything but explore getting rid of Zeke. If you could get Madison and Cook, that's safe. That's pretty safe. Not that Zeke and Pollard aren't, and I don't see Pollard listed. I hope you have Pollard. Maybe it's small enough rosters where you haven't picked him up, but Pollard's almost a must for you, way over Chris Carson. Pollard and Zeke are you have to have them. So would I rather have Cook and Madison over Zeke alone? Yeah. Would I rather have Cook and Madison over Zeke and Pollard? Probably going forward, because I feel like if Madison does get in there, you're fine. It's a top 5 to 10 running back. I'll maybe look to do that deal if you can secure Madison. That would be pretty close for me. Problem says, hey, Problem, aren't you one of the leaders in the Champions Round mini CeeDee Lamb helmet race? Isn't that your team? One of your teams is up there. Congrats if that's you. Trade Adams and Higgins, Judy, or Gibby for Jefferson and Debo. I would trade Adams, Higgy. Adams, Gibby, and we'll call him Higgy, and Higgy, and Judy. Yeah, I would probably trade all of that for Jefferson and Debo. Debo's playing great right now. Not that I wouldn't explore selling him high if you needed to make a trade and your team was depleted. But I like Debo, the way he's playing, the way they've run him. He's an injury risk, but Jefferson and Adams are potentially a wash. So Higgins, Judy, or Gibby. like either side of that, I don't value that over Debo, no matter which way you go, Higgins, Judy, or Gibby. Yeah, give me Debo. Give me Debo and Jefferson. Also have Pitts, Knox, Najee, Swift, Lamb, Madison, Moore, McKissick. They have Mitchell, Jacobs, Waddle, Kyler. Yeah, I don't see anything else to really throw into the mix. Yeah, try and get that done. That's really good. That's really good. That was you? Okay, nice job, your team. Well, did you have someone go down? I didn't look at your roster. I had Henry. That was a league I picked Henry. I picked Henry for a reason. I wanted to, if I was wrong about Henry, I wanted to have something to relish in. So I picked Henry in that contest. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to roll with Henry so that I have something to root for. And that's another thing people need to understand about me. I wasn't against Henry. I wasn't rooting for him to get hurt. I was enjoying his season. I just think probability was going to catch up with him. And it did. And on that league, it was a week's, but it was only to week 13. So I figured Henry had a shot at staying healthy to week 13. So it was, I think it was weeks 10 through 13 fantasy contest. 7 through 13. I think it was 7 through 13 or 7 through 12 fantasy contest. And I had Cook, I believe. Or no, who'd I have? I had 3 players that went down. I had like Kyler. I may have had Hopkins. I had Henry. And so that team was depleted, or I forget what I had, but I think problem is in that, and he's doing pretty good. So congrats, bro. Terry Roberts with another super chat. Chat, the best fantasy show. We are busy. Only 112 likes. Punch that thumbs up. Help the channel out. Thank you, Terry. Terry's an OG. Terry's like, he's basically the bouncer of the show. Him and Silver, but Silver took a couple weeks off. We haven't really seen Silver in here the last few weeks. Silver, it's okay. Everybody needs a break from time to time, but I do hope Silver Rapture comes back soon. We definitely need him back. In all fairness, his injury could have happened to anyone. It wasn't due to being overworked. You could debate that, bro. You could definitely debate him having a foot issue like that. That's wear and tear. You could easily argue wear and tear. So in fairness, it could go either way. But I mean, I hear that with everything too. I hear that with the Barkley stuff. I heard that with the Akers stuff. You know, I had a ton of avoid Akers. He's one of my biggest no-go running backs. And when he got hurt, I heard a lot of, awesome, thanks for helping me avoid him, and a bunch of hate on that. Like, don't act like you knew he's going to tear his Achilles tendon. And I didn't know he's going to tear his Achilles tendon, but he's a very injury-prone player. And he was a big avoid for 100 different reasons. It wasn't like there was one reason. It was the way they used the running backs there. And in LA, it's the fact that who knows how much Hendy would have been used anyway. And probably Akers would have gotten a lot of run. But it was, we can talk about injuries all the time. A lot of people don't like injury-prone conversations, but I'm sorry. That's part of the show. And there are a lot of players that we try and predict injury for, and it just doesn't settle well with a lot of people, which I understand, and that's fine. Everyone's got their own opinion and perspective, and I'm not mad at anybody for saying that. Like Barkley's injury, the ankle injury that he just had, was a freak thing that could have happened to anybody, but you could look at that a bunch of different ways. You could look at how reckless it was, the way he throws his body into risk and impact is different than a lot of running backs. There's a lot to talk about. His quad and torque on his quad strength and torque on his ligaments is greater than any other running back probably in the league, and he's very susceptible to like knee injuries and stuff like that because of that torque that he has, the kind of cutting force that he has. It's crazy. That's why I don't really trust him moving forward with his knees. So Zeke for Cook is a better trade. I would rather have Zeke and I'd rather have Cook and Madison. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you have both backups or if it's Zeke and Pollard versus just Cook. That's different too. But but Madison and Cook over Zeke, or Madison and Cook over Zeke and Pollard. I'd rather have Cook and Madison, I think, in those scenarios, because I just think Cook and Madison are going to have a really good finish, whoever's starting, and I think they will stick with one running back, whereas Pollard and Zeke could kind of divide up and both hurt each other. Just got sent this trade: Zeke and McLaurin for Chase and J-Rob. Zeke and McLaurin for Chase and J-Rob. Wow, that one is close. Is Ridley coming back? I don't know, bro. No one knows, Scott. I'd be just blowing smoke out my rear end, bro, if I just told you I had any insight on that, because there's nothing, you know. For him to do what he did, to come out with what he came out with, he clearly was, I think, positioning to walk away for the remainder of the season. But he could change his mind. Even if he meant that, he could change his mind. So I don't know. I'd hold him unless you could pick up someone very, very good that can help you win. How do I feel about Najee rest of season? I love him. I think he could hit a rookie wall like so many rookies do, especially when they get overworked like Najee's been being worked. But do I think he could push through it? Yeah, is he still a top 3 overall running back for me? He is. But there is some concern that, you know, he could hit a rookie wall, and sometimes rookies get hurt after being overworked like that. And an extra game, too. It's a longer season than for most rookies, or for all rookies that have ever experienced a rookie season. We're now one extra game, so it's a lot of work for a rookie to take on. But he's been doing well, and he's so good. And he's just, I love Najee Harris. Thoughts on DK rest of the season? Love DK. He got suspended. People are going to be very, very down on him and disappointed in him. And people are weird when they get upset at a player. Some people are like, I want to get rid of him. I'm done with him. And I'm tired of him being inconsistent. Then he gets in a fight and gets, you know, ejected. And now I want to get rid of him. Like, poke around, try and get him. He's a top, 7 to 10, top 6 to 10 wide receiver lock for me. And to answer this trade, I never answered it. Zeke and McLaurin for Chase and J-Rob. I probably lean. I just don't like J-Rob. I don't like that. Sucks that it's like you're crushing the one side. I love Jamar Chase. I want him over McLaurin so bad, even though I like McLaurin. But Zeke over J-Rob, I think that's more arguable than Chase over McLaurin, though. So I probably lean Chase and J-Rob, but I try and trade J-Rob. That's tough. I think that's tough. I'd rather have Chase and J-Rob, but I would get rid of J-Rob. J Peach says 121 likes. Appreciate it. What do you think of Devonte Foreman? Dude can't stay healthy. I'm not thinking much. How does Zeke for Swift and Hollywood sound? I like that. I take Swift and Hollywood over Zeke. That's the kind of move I'm talking about. That's the kind of move I think is a really smart move right now. And I like Zeke Elliott. You guys know how much I like him, but Swift and Hollywood, or Swift and McLaurin, give you two options. You know what I mean? Is Diggs a hold or sell high for Swift? I don't mind Diggs for Swift straight up if you need a running back, and I don't mind Diggs for Swift if you need a wide receiver. So very, very close trade for me, and I like both of them. But Diggs is a hold unless someone comes and offers you a running back one. And Swift is arguably, in this running back climate, with running backs dropping like flies, not a lot of top 10 running backs left. Swift has some good value, but he also has some risk. But I love Diggs and I hold him. Zach says Diggs is going to have a huge second half. I agree. I'm 3-7 now, Smitty. I am toast. I'm sorry, Zepeda. We're going to crush it next year for you. I hope you have another league. If not, go to smitty1.com, click on either of my DFS partners and enter code Smitty and play DFS and get your DFS on, bro. If you go to smitty1.com, guys, and you click on either one of these bad boys, Prize Picks or Underdog Fantasy, enter promo code Smitty at checkout, or just click the links. If you go to smitty1.com, just click the link that's attached to each of these banners, and it'll enter my promo code for you. And play DFS, man. Play over unders at Prize Picks. So these are really good ones to drop, bro. These prop bets are amazing because I don't think they have the same kind of, I don't want to say skill involved in placing the actual lines. I feel like they don't have the experience to nail it. You know what I mean? So like you'll see some over-unders that are like your head scratching. You're like, oh my God, how can they not get over that amount of yardage? And so I feel like these are really fun to play because some of them feel like are more obvious than others. So you put them all together on a 3-team, 1 ticket where it's a multiplier and you've got to pick 3 things to happen on 1 ticket to get paid more. All 3 things got to happen, or you can not check that multiplier box, pick 3 things, and you don't necessarily need them all 3 to hit. It's fun. And then Underdog Fantasy, you can play a Week 11 fantasy football contest. It's only Week 11. You know what you know now. You take it into a Week 11 battle and you play it out. So go to smitty1.com and play those, especially if you guys are down and out about your season. You're 3-7, Zepeda. Go play DFS Week 11 only and have something to look forward to. The shows will be still phenomenal for you because they'll help you win these Week 11 only, Week 12 only, Week 13 only contests, and you can play them for like $5 or $10, bro. And you can win tons of, there's tons of prizes that they allocate out, and they pay out like, if you're in the bottom, the top 1 to 10 or 20, then the top 21 to 50, and the top 100 to 200. Like they pay out a lot of spots, man, and it's fun. Go check it out at Underdog Fantasy by going to smitty1.com and clicking that Underdog banner. Lewis, thank you. Gonzalez, thank you. Gonzalez says, Smitty, advice on making our own rankings. I mean, you could take the rankings I have, you can copy and download them or whatever on each column, paste them into an Excel sheet, do your own set, and then you can average them or whatever. But that's always a good way because it incorporates your ranking, and incorporates a ranking that you trust, and then boom, you have like an average of them. But I mean, you probably go to a site like sleeperu.com because you want to look at another person's rankings, and then when you're drafting, you're going to draft differently. You're not going to draft just based off the rankings. You're going to draft based on your gut mixed with the content you have with you. No one drafts based on the ranking they have. So I don't know that you even need to have your own set of rankings. I think you just need to have a set of rankings you trust with you. And then when you're on the clock, you're going to draft based on your gut, best player available, and how you feel. I don't know that you need to have like an actual set of rankings that are your own, because you're gonna know what you want to do on draft day. So I'm not saying not to rank it, but it's more so important to just, I think, take your gut instinct in with whatever source you have and use your gut. Use your gut mixed with something else that you trust. And ADP is real important too. Debo, we're holding or selling. It depends on your scenario. It depends on what's going on in your life, man. Do you need to get something big for Debo Samuel? Do you need to make a trade? Because if you do, he's a great sell high. It doesn't mean you don't believe in him. It just means you can sell high. Kittle, same thing. I trust Kittle staying healthy very little, but he's looking good right now. CD or Deke rest of season? Give me CD, but I love both of them. DK, I'm doing better this week. 100, says DK. Why are you selling J-Rob so heavily? I just don't trust him, man. Some of it's gut instinct, but I don't get rid of him low. I'm trying to trade into like a Swift or somebody that it has risk too, but I feel like it's just a better option, more upside and more a little bit less risk. I just don't know how I feel about this offense. I don't know how I feel about J-Rob staying healthy. I don't know how much I trust Urban Meyer. I don't know how much the Jags are looking better some weeks, and I just feel like, I don't know. I'm torn on it. Depends on the value. I'm not telling you to get rid of them cheap, though. You can also get a lifetime membership at sleeperu.com. Take over next year, says Terry Roberts. And anybody, hey, Zepeda, that's good. Good advice by Terry. If you go to sleeperu.com, scroll down to the bottom or the middle of the page, or click on pricing in the menu. And if you buy a lifetime membership, I will draft with you next year. I'll give you a 1-hour draft call. If you order a sleeperu.com lifetime membership, I will draft with you, bro. We will dominate 2022 together, and I'll be on the phone with you, and we'll tear it up. We'll tear it up, Zepeda. Zepeda, I'm a first-year student of Smitty for lifetime. Attaboy. Terry's a lifetime member. Trade Michael Carter for Hunter Renfrow. Probably not. I don't really. Renfro's okay. Go either way. I'm not going to Smitty approve or disapprove of that. That's a meh trade. Could see it going either way. Monty for Deontay straight up. I suppose I'd rather have Monty. Cook or Najee, very arguable, very close. You could argue either side. I could literally give me a minute on one side. I could argue it, and you'd be like, God, this guy loves Najee more than Cook. And then I could flip it, and the next minute I could argue Cook, and you'd be like, dang, this guy loves Cook more than not. Like, I could sell both sides. If you have the backup, Cook and Madison might be more secure than Najee, and his backup doesn't matter. I probably would say Cook and Madison. If it's just Cook and Najee, I'd rather have Najee. So I think it does boil down to the backup situation. Blake with a big super chat. Thank you, Blake. Appreciate you. I think this button still works. Oh. No. I pressed the button. I moved one of the Alexas into the baby's room. And I press the button, and it comes from the baby, oh my God. It says, thank you for the super chat. May I have another in the baby's room right now? If the baby gets up, I gotta go. Good God. Hold on, let me get the baby monitor. I gotta reprogram the button. It specifically, I didn't want it coming out all the speakers. I specifically programmed one of my Alexas that I had in the corner here to say thank you for the super chat. May I have another? I just moved it into the baby room because I thought I'm selfish. I got Ziggy over here. Ziggy, say hello.
Hi.
That's Ziggy. We got Ziggy in here. We don't need another, artificial intelligent, robot in here. So I moved it in there. When I hit the button, I could hear it on the baby monitor. Thank you for the super chat. May I have another? But good news. Good news. Good news. Fast asleep. No movement whatsoever. No movement. We're good. God. Blake. Back to Blake. I'm sorry, Blake. Have Najee, Monty, Hendy, Patterson. Sorry about Patterson, broski. Gaskin, Dillon. Nice job on Dillon. Wide receivers are Diggs, Amari, Deontay, Shepard. Currently in first place. Of course you are. 6-4. Thoughts on trading a running back for a wide receiver and making a final push? Any ideas? I would say Jamar Chase, man. I've got him as the biggest name up here. I love Kyler. I love Hopkins. I like Connor, but I love Kyler and I love Hopkins for teams that are already in first place, second place that can coast. And you want the bye week, so I'm not telling you to take a dive here at the end and get second or third place, but I do feel like Kyler and Hopkins are great players for teams like yours. I don't know who your quarterback is. Did you say who your quarterback is? I don't see your quarterback listed, I don't think. Sorry if I'm missing it. But Kyler would be a great player to get. Hopkins would be a great player to get. Now, you're wanting to potentially trade. I'd trade for Jamar Chase if I could. If I could get rid of, let's see here. Don't trade Diggs. Don't trade Najee. Can you trade Henderson? Can you trade Henderson and Patterson? Can you trade Amari and Henderson, Amari and Monty, Deontay and Monty, those kind of combinations to get a Jamar Chase? I don't know if people are going to undervalue him or not in your league. Every league is different. Some people will not trade Jamar for nothing. Some people won't trade at all. Some leagues don't have any trading going on. I can't help that, but I can tell you that Jamar Chase is not untouchable right now, especially if the wrong, or in this case, the right person owns him, because they may trade him at a ridiculous value. But like other players to go get, if Jamar is not on the market, you could get Jefferson potentially cheaper than you should be able to get him. CD's off the table. Tyreek Hill's off the table. Hill and Mahomes, my top two buy lows and Kelsey, top 3 buy lows last year. Even though they're big name players, people were freaking out about Patrick Mahomes. What happened? The 3 best buy lows from last week, who were big name players, were absolute smashes in 2021 week 10. And you will never touch Mahomes or Hill again in a trade, or probably Kelsey. And these guys are absolute monsters. And that's why you don't listen to the noise when someone says that Mahomes is figured out, or that Mahomes ain't bouncing back, or that Mahomes is terrible. You don't listen to the noise. You trust your gut. You trust logic. And Mahomes was going to be fine. It was clear as day. And so will Jamar Chase. So will... Who's doing bad right now, though? Because Jamar Chase isn't doing bad. He hadn't blown up lately, but he also had the bye week. Hopkins will rebound to form. Kyler, like I said, trade for him. Wide receiver wise, DK. People are frustrated with DK. AJ Brown, I'm not super pumped about getting, but I also would buy him low. I would sell him high, but I would also potentially buy him low because people are freaking out about him, but for good reason. Knee injuries, there's no offense there. Titans are still able to win games, but it still worries me enough that I would sell or avoid AJ Brown in some cases. For right now, maybe not next year. We'll revisit. You got Allen, Diggs, Stack. That's nice. Then you're good. You don't need Kyler. I would try and move Amari, Deontay, Monty, and Henderson in those combinations, and Patterson to try and get Jamar Chase somehow, bro. I try and get Jamar Chase somehow. Obviously, try and leave one of the running backs so that you can roll with Jamar Chase and your other wide receivers. You got Diggs, and I would trade Amari too. So Deontay, Amari, Patterson, Henderson, Monty, combinations of those guys to get you any one of, obviously, Adams. You can't get Hill. Probably can't get Kupp, but try. Jamar Chase, Jefferson, Diggs, CeeDee Lamb you probably can't get, but you could try. Somebody might be like, I'm living on cloud 9. I want to get rid of it before it crashes. Who knows? DK, and then it starts dropping off, man. It starts dropping off a lot. Like, would I trade a single player like Amari for McLaurin or something? I would. Do I want Swift for your team? I do. So, Hendy and, or let's see, Monty and Amari for Swift. I mean, that might be an overpay, but I feel like it could be worth it. And, Eckler, can you get rid of Monty and Deontay, or Monty and Amari, or, Hendy and Amari for Eckler? I mean, maybe. Somebody might overpay. You never know, broski. All right, guys, if I missed a super chat, please let me know. Just tell me in the comments, hey, I super chatted, you missed it. Can you take care of me? And I will definitely take care of you. Reckless, Smitty, AJ Brown's talent is there. Poor quarterback play, and now Henry and Julio are out. Makes teams focus on a lot. AJ Brown is a top 5 to 7 wide receiver. I understand, Reckless, and this is what I hit earlier. When I talked about AJ Brown, is that's the problem, though, is there's the knee issues. He went out for a little bit in the game, so I'm just concerned about health, and the fact that there's no Henry. So exactly what you just said, I said earlier, you probably weren't here for it. It's like he's going to be locked down a lot. He's going to get double teamed a lot, and without Julio, without Henry, without the run game, it's going to be hard for. It's not like AJ Brown's going to get overfed, and it's going to be good. We might have disrupted the sequence of events that are the nighttime straight through sleeping that little Smitty does on the regular. She may not be sleeping through this night because she's dreaming about super chats rolling around, restless. She's restless, and it's my fault. Let's move this button over here where I can't press it until I reprogram it. But Reckless, I'm with you. I've never argued he's not a top 5 to 7 wide receiver talent, but definitely some concerns here between injuries and between him being double teamed and being the focal point of defenses. They've got nothing else. So I worry about it. I worry about it big time. We super chatted her awake. All right, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, everybody that super chatted. Thank you to Reckless. Thank you to Blake. Blake again, especially for the big drop super chat. Blake Gonzalez, Mendez, appreciate you. Terry Roberts, multiple times. Problem, I appreciate you. Keaton, Frayne, Rock Out, Zachary Barlow. I see another super chat coming in by Terry. Terry, let me read that 1 second. Zachary, Barlow again. Appreciate you, Barlow. Weeks, thank you, Weeks, for yours. Saeed, Kurt Russell, appreciate you. Matt, Slater, Snaky, appreciate you. Buddy Boy, Scott, 420, thank you for your super chat. Scott again. Garrett, did I answer Garrett's? I was offered to trade Cooper for Dillon. I think I did. I answered that. I think I like Dillon, but you could argue either side. Forever, thank you. Faint again. WRM, appreciate you. Faint. Is it Faint? Faintski? I think I call him Fain. Matt, thank you, Matt. Eric, Husted, thank you, pal. Thank you, Hamaza, appreciate you, buddy boy. Matt again, Matt K, I think. Terry Roberts again, Mike, appreciate you. Derek Just, as usual. Rock Out again. John Groths, which was that? What was that? Did I do that 160 pass Hurts or Hopkins? Yeah, I remember that one. Okay, just make sure I took care of everybody. Thank you, buddy boy. Appreciate you. Thank you, Wazinski. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Mr. Punch, especially Mr. Punch. Appreciate you, Carlos. Booked 64. Scott V. Yet again, Scott V. Fernando. Appreciate you, Fernando. Terry Roberts again. Dropping the super chats like a madman. I think this Mr. Punch one's coming up again. Look at Mr. Punch dropping the hundo. Appreciate you, Mr. Punch. You are the man, the myth, the legend. Appreciate you. Terry again. Terry's a veteran and OG here at the show. Derek Just again. I love Derek Just. He's the man, the myth, the legend. Keaton for being the first one in here. Jackson Young for being the second. Grant S for being the third. Nick for being the fourth. Gary for being the fifth. Joel, Saint, Nev, and Alan, Zeus, Big Dog, Teddy, Ben, Nick, Joel A, Brandon, Sonny, all you guys for being in here first. The notification squad. Thank you all. And then this last super chat. Let me scroll to the bottom. God, I don't know how many comments we have. We have like about 2,000 comments a show minimum. Terry Roberts dropping the big wad. Look at this. Hey, here, Smitty, for your hard work. We thank you. Terry, I appreciate you, good buddy. And look at that Take a Lap shirt. Terry, your shirt's in the mail. I got Terry another shirt. I'm making Terry a hat for waiting on his shirt for so long. Terry, I'm making you a hat, bro. You like a large? There are two sizes. There's the XL or the large. It's like the small, or it's the small, medium, or large XL. So do you have a small head or a big head, Terry? The big brain of yours, all your fantasy knowledge, I imagine it's a large XL. But if it is, DM me on Instagram. I'm sending you a hat too. Appreciate you, Terry. Thank you all. Leave a comment. As always, I will get back to everybody as much as I can. Anybody that leaves a comment in the next 12 to 48 hours, so we should have 200 comments, right? So leave your comments. Go now. Drop a comment. Terry, I'll DM you in a second. And Rock Out, I'm DMing you now.